Hi everyone, your crafty gardener here, Katrina. I am cooking dinner tonight, and this is part of the Three Rivers Challenge. We are going to be having a Mexican dinner night, tacos and quesadillas. So I am going to be using 1 pound of ground beef as well as a pound of ground chicken. There are members of my family who do not eat beef or pork, so we are dividing the meal up this way. Now keep in mind that even if they did eat beef and pork, we would still be using 2 packs of meat because we are a party of 9 plus. So I started off by frying up the meat so we could get it to where I could get it seasoned and everything. And then work on the other parts of the meal that don't take as long. So my daughter is frying up the ground beef, and I am frying up the ground chicken. Now I use a taco seasoning, which is just a seasoning that you can buy off the shelf. And I picked these seasonings up at Dollar Tree. Now, don't discount Dollar Tree, y'all. They have a lot of interesting items that you can get to cook with if you are still having to use the grocery stores. I try to pick their healthier items when I do buy items from the store there. Now, you guys can see I am a pioneer woman. That's my Pioneer kettle on the stove and my meat chopper there that I'm using, but that's not what this video is about. Anywho, I used the taco seasoning there from the Dollar Tree, and I was going to put some on the beef too. However, that beef had a lot of water in it. No, so we needed to drain it first. So we drained that meat off, and then we added the taco seasoning to it. I also used the Taco Bell taco packets that you can buy in the grocery store as well, and I have a lot of those packets. So we used 1 for each pound of meat, and by just adding them to the skillet. All right, and then I slowly incorporated some water in there just to get that powder mixed up into the meat, so that we had a nice savory sauce over it that wasn't thin and runny, because when you put thin and runny meat on a taco, you end up with big problems. Running all over you, for one, and you want your meat to actually hold the juice. So if you make it just thick enough, it will hold the juice in it. Alright, so I turned the fire down on that chicken so that it would slow down the cooking, because I didn't want the meat to brown or burn while being incorporated into the liquid. And then we're just adding the same taco packet to the ground beef. Now you can see the ground beef is a little bit darker than the chicken, and that is another way that helps my family tell which one is which, so they don't get a bite of the wrong one. Because of course, if you haven't eaten beef for a long time, eating it could make you sick, as well as pork. If you have cut pork out of your diet and you eat a piece of pork, you can definitely get sick, nauseated, or anything like that. Now, these tortillas I also got at Dollar Tree for $1.25 a pack, and they come in a pack of 20 tortillas, I believe, or 10, maybe 10. I think it's 10 tortillas each. Alright, so I use those to make the quesadillas with, and I simply just take those, I run one side of them in butter, and then I put them in the pan. Alright, and then I add the cheese and the meat, and we fold it up. And then when I take it out of the pan, it's nice and crisp and folded, and I just cut them in half. Alright, and that is how we make it. So you can see here I'm adding the meat, and this is a beef quesadilla. And I'm going to add the cheese. Cheese I am using is a mild cheddar cheese as well as a Colby Jack for this recipe, because I did not have any of the Mexican cheese mix that we usually have, because for some reason my kids use them on the pizzas instead of the Italian blend, but that's okay too. And so you brown that quesadilla on one side, then you just flip it over to the other side and let it brown. And then we take it out of the pan and we're going to cut it in half. So I'm going to get my next tortilla ready so I can run it through the butter. And then I will cut those quesadillas in half. And they are very crunchy and taste very good. The tortillas dipped in that butter sauce is really, really good. And then we took our taco shells and I put those in the oven. I heated the oven up actually. And once the oven was heated up, I turned it off and put the taco shells in there because I just wanted them heated. I did not want them toasted. So that allowed them to toast. All right, and then using our salsa. This is a papaya salsa that I made and canned with the fresh vegetables that I got from the marketplace. And I have several of these downstairs on my pantry shelves where I put my canning goods. And if you saw my other video, you know we had a disaster today, but none of the salsa died. They all made it through. Alright, so this is the meat left over that they can make their own tacos with. These are the quesadillas with the salsa. And my daughter's going to taste test because she just can't wait, okay? So I'm going to flip you around so we can... This looks. So she's getting the papaya salsa and she's getting a beef quesadilla. And she was just dying to taste this while it was cooking.
Yeah, I like this.
She's going to eat all the salsa up so there'll be none for anyone else. Don't stick that spoon back in my salsa.
10 out of 10. Yeah, I like this.
She's spoken, y'all. 10 out of 10. So that's our meal for tonight. Using all of my pantry items. Salsa that I canned from my fresh vegetables that I had gotten from the farmer's market that I usually get to stock up on. Meat from the freezer. And all the tortillas and everything else came from my pantry shelf, and the butter, of course, from the refrigerator. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel, Crafty Gardener, and be blessed as we continue on this journey with the 3 Rivers Challenge. Good night.